Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've been away for a little bit, but I'm really excited to be talking about my favorite perfumer, Roja Dove, and his Parfums de la Nuit collection. So if you're curious to know more about that, don't go away. So welcome back everyone. As I mentioned, we'll be talking about Roja Parfums, Parfums de la Nuit 1, 2, and 3, or for short PDLN 2, or 1, 2, and 3. So before we do, here's my little spiel. If you guys haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love if you can do so by clicking that subscribe button down below and hitting the notification bell to be notified of any future content and videos so as soon as I upload a new video, you'll be notified right away. So these are going to be talking about, or this review will be talking about, Parfums de la Nuit in Roja Dove's collection. Now these are some of my absolute favorite fragrances in the entire Roja Dove portfolio. These are meant to symbolize perfumes of the night, and the first one is going to be Parfum or PDLN 1. So what do we get with PDLN 1? Well, let's find out. So right away you get this papyrus, this kind of smoky, dry papyrus that's accompanied by this green earthy vetiver. And then it's married with this clove, this kind of comforting, warm clove that's really, really lovely. The clove is very prominent there. It's comforting, it's turbulent, and it's also paired with this saffron, which is really lovely. The saffron here is also in combination with that clove and also that papyrus, giving it kind of a smoky, leathery opening. So as it dries down, you get this labdanum. Roja loves using labdanum. It's deep, it's authoritative, it's a little bit also leathery, and it's paired with this tolu balsam and benzoin that gives it a very resinous, cozy, somewhat vanillic feel that has this almost ambery touch to it. It's incredibly gorgeous. There's also a little bit of styrax in there, which is adding to that overall kind of resinous feel, and as well as that benzoin. And I love when he pairs benzoin with vanilla and tonka bean. Those marry off each other very, very well. So you get this vanillic, ambery, soft, somewhat powdery accord that's all tied together with this leathery, smoky, dried opening. And it's definitely a little bit of more of the animalic of the three. It's almost animalistic, but not overly animalic. It's very, very well balanced and just an incredibly seductive fragrance. I think this is one that if you love animalic fragrances, if you love more powerful, more domineering fragrances, this is going to be one right up your alley. And there's a slight touch of this in the base as it dries down, this civet and castoreum that gives it a touch of this animalic vibe, but it's not real civet, it's not real castoreum. Of course, it's synthetic. Otherwise, there would be ethical issues involved. But that is PDLN 1. Now, these are all very regal, very, very opulent fragrances. I would only wear these in a very sophisticated, upscale setting. I don't think these are meant to be worn in a casual setting. The longevity in all of these, by the way, are going to be outstanding. You're going to get easily 10 to 12 hours. So that is Parfums de la Nuit 1. So the next one, of course, is going to be PDLN 2. Now this one is my absolute favorite of the two. And that is because I am someone who absolutely adores and really loves boozy fragrances. Now this one is it fits the bill completely. It's a very provoking, very enticing rum. It's almost like this rum that's soaked with this cocoa. It's kind of chocolatey. It's almost got this gourmand aspect to it. It's boozy. It's succulent. It's provoking. It's incredibly. It's really just enticing. Now you're getting that. It's kind of counterpointed a little bit with that rum and cocoa accord with these other citruses. And the citruses kind of help balance out that very boozy opening right off the bat, but those citruses are short-lived, and that booziness really stands out. There's a papyrus accord here, which is again a little bit earthy, a little bit smoky, and it's paired with this patchouli, which is earthy, it's dark, it's green, it's somewhat damp, and it's also very well balanced, and it's appropriate here because it's helping making this fragrance not just a boozy fragrance, but very complex and layered. You have these other accords, is this Gaiac wood accord, and the patchouli and the vetiver and the Gaiac wood are very ethereal. They're almost transparent. You can almost feel them. It's almost like they're 3D or three-dimensional, if that makes sense. It's almost like you can feel them. This is all channeled and brought together with this cistus and this labdanum, which is soft. It's somewhat leathery. It's touch ambery that helps tie and just enliven and kind of uplift all those other notes and really marry and tie this all together into one beautiful composition. And then as it's drying down, you get this benzoin and this tolu balsam, which is kind of this honeyed amber accord that's really, really lovely, incredibly sexy, and helping this boozy fragrance become more than just a boozy fragrance. It's comforting, it's familiar, but it's also at the same time, you keep coming back to it again and again. I find myself smell my wrist all day long as I'm wearing this. I just keep coming back to it again and again. It's absolutely incredible. I love this one. There's also a little bit of this vanillic touch at the end that's giving this a little bit of a sweetness. I think there's civet or castoreum in the base that's listed there. I don't get any kind of animalic components to this. It might be giving somewhat of a more of a darker feel, and that's what it's kind of playing off here in the base, but I don't get that at all. So that is PDLN 2. Now also, if I should mention, if you're someone who loves boozy fragrances, if you're someone who loves like Enigma Porom or Baranda from Nasamato, this is gonna be up there with just as fantastic, if not better. This has quickly become one of my absolute favorite boozy fragrances in my collection. I'm very excited to wear this one in the wintertime to see how it reacts and how it projects off my skin. So the next one is going to be Roja Dove's Parfums de la Nuit 3, or PDLN 3. So PDLN 3 is one that I just got this year. I had a sample of it and I was dying to get a bottle as well. And I'm glad I did because it completed my collection or my trio of the three. Now, oops, let me switch. I have something else in this hand. So Parfum or PDLN 3 is different than 1 and 2. It's more dry, it's more spicy, it's also very powerful, it's very deep, it's very rich, but it's a different kind of a scent profile. So what do we get with this one? So right off the bat, you get this green, piney, spirited amorous accord that's paired with this Artemisia or Artemisin that's bitter, it's forested, it's almost like sylvan and rustic, and it's all paired and very well balanced with these woods accords, the cedar and the sandalwood, which is also very rustic, very earthy, and they're playing off each other very, very nicely. The one thing I love about this one is it's a very almost bitter green, herbal, rustic opening, but it's centrally paired with this tranquil rose that is really helping balance out and give this more of a harmony that really, I think, works so well with that amorous and then Artemisia. There's also a kind of a bouquet of spices. There's cumin here, which is kind of bitter and astringent and pungent. There's saffron, which is somewhat leathery and sweet, and there's cardamom, which is giving this a very soft and seductive feel. It's almost in wrapping with this warmth. It's incredibly beautiful. As it's drying down, you get this gershom and you get this cypriol, which is savory. It's almost gummy. It's giving this almost kind of this gummy feel that I really love. So it's all those notes are starting to blend together and become one composition, one beautiful composition. Roja Dove's fragrances are super complex. There are so many levels of complexity and so many layers going on that it's really hard to pick out each note, but they're all just one incredibly alluring composition for each of these fragrances. So it's underpinned by this incense, this styrax, this benzoin, which is giving this almost like this vanillic feel, almost like this ambery vanillic resonance feel. And of course there's this labdanum that is a little bit leathery, a little bit smoky, and it's giving this more of a again, a domineering, a prominent, somewhat masculine accord. Just something that is incredibly, just, it screams power, it screams opulence, it screams seductive, and it really just is something that I think is going to grab attention. Oh, man. Wow, these are all so incredible. So that is my review of Parfums de la Nuit 1, 2, and 3. Again, I think these are all going to be outstanding in the wintertime. These are all going to last a long time on your skin. They project off my skin for a very long time, at least 10 to 12 hours so far. It hasn't really been cold yet, so I'm kind of really excited to see where these go in the cold weather. I'm assuming these are going to be very long lasting in the cold weather. Just because I also mentioned there's somewhat of a masculine accords or feel to some of these fragrances. By no means are these masculine fragrances. These can be worn by men and women. 100% of these are unisex. If you're either or, if you are someone who likes to wear masculine or feminine fragrances, these are gonna be, right up your alley. These can be worn by anyone, so feel free to rock these as you please. These are something I think should be worn again in a very sophisticated setting, not a casual setting. These are too powerful, they're too rich, they're too dark to be worn in a casual setting. So that is my review of PDLN 1, 2, and 3, guys. Let me know down below in the comments, do you own 1, 2, or 3? Do you own all 3? Which one is your favorite? Which one is your least favorite? I would love to know if you guys can share those in the comments below. As always, thank you all so much for supporting my channel. I truly appreciate it. It means the world to me. And as always, stay safe and take care of each other. Bye, guys.